and welcome back everyone to the channel. Myself, David, Millionaire Incorporated, and I got some huge news for you right now. I have done it. I've officially done it. Handed in my resignation for work, and I am retiring from my career in dental permanently at the start of August. Huge milestone for me, and for honestly anyone in particular who can actually go and do that. But today's video is actually about how I got to this position and what I did or what I put in place to be able to do this for myself and me moving forward. So if you're new to the channel, guys, don't forget, smash the subscribe button, hit the like, leave me a comment. Would love to hear from you all. It would mean a lot to me, and we'll get into it. So after 12 years of actually working in the dental industry as an oral hygienist, I can actually hand in my resignation for work and actually transition to do things which I am more enjoy, or do things which I enjoy doing more for myself, like crypto trading, investing, things like that. But I had to put myself into a position where this was actually feasible and I was able to do this. So what I actually did, or the process I actually went through to get myself into this position, is pretty much what I've gone through in all my other videos previously. Now, I'm going to kind of touch on it first, or touch on it in this video now for you, so you get a good understanding of the entire process as a collective and what it actually took to actually do so. So, as I said, 12 years I've been working in dentistry. So one of the first things I did personally was actually, I had a passion for dentistry and health and taking care of people. So I got myself a job in a field where there was quite a high demand and a reasonably high paying job. So finished high school, went through, did my studies in oral hygiene therapy kind of thing, which actually gave me the degree to be able to work in dentistry. And I kind of developed the skills and tools necessary to be quite highly skilled as a professional in this field. Now, that actually opened up quite a good door for me in the sense that I actually was able to earn a reasonable amount of money. Now, it wasn't all smooth sailing, get the job, work, save, invest, resign. I did stupid stuff as well. I went out and partied for a long time, and I could have actually gotten to this point a lot sooner, but nonetheless, we're here now, which is huge. So yeah, I got myself a nice high-paying job. Now, you don't actually have to have a job to do this. You can actually be in sales and commissions. There is many ways to actually do this, and you don't actually have to have one kind of primary point of income to do this as well. All that you need is a reasonably good paying job or a reasonable amount of income to be able to cover all your living expenses and then also have some money for savings or investing. So after I had the high paying job, once I actually figured out my finances, my plan, and what I actually wanted to achieve, I actually went about that and went to work doing that. So one of the first things I did was actually have a reasonable amount of money in savings for myself so that I have some money in the background, so that if things don't go as I plan, I have plenty of money to fall back on to actually pay for bills, things like that. But one thing I actually did as well is I actually reduced how much debt I was actually in and carrying, so I wasn't actually having to pay over and above what was just considered necessary living expenses, because that can blow out quite quickly, like going out excessively, buying things excessively on credit, things like that, because that all accrues interest and you can sometimes not get very far doing that as well. So as a result, I had plenty of cash in savings ready to go in case anything went bad. And that's when I say plenty of cash, I mean up to like a year and a half worth of living expenses in savings ready to go. Now, this is quite a significant amount of money, so it can take you a little while to get to doing this. You might also want to kind of build that gradually while also using part of your money to actually invest in other things as well, which will bring more wealth and more income to you. So next, I also made sure that my living expenses and cost of living weren't too excessive. Like, I maintained still a relatively decent lifestyle, but I wasn't blowing it out on lunches every day at work, going out for coffee, going out for this, going out for that constantly. I actually did minimize what I actually was spending my money on. So while still eating quite healthily, I was eating at home a lot Monday to Friday, having basically the same thing for lunch every day, which can get a bit boring, but at the same time it was nutritious and actually filled two spots. It actually saved me money and actually fed my body for my gym and weight gaining, which I wanted to do. So that was that. So I limited my expenses. I wasn't going out and buying a brand new phone every couple of years. I was kind of letting it slide 3-4 years. And things like that. I wasn't kind of going out and buying a brand new car, putting it on credit or whatever, and having to pay that off as well. I actually had a pretty modest car, despite how much money I have in the savings and stuff. But the car got me to A to B, did what I needed to do. Now I'm actually able to live the life I want to more easily and actually scale myself out. So yeah, so first, high paying job. Second, manage my finances and income so that I wasn't going over and above. 3, having savings in the bank. And then from that, this is where it is a little bit trickier. You need to find an investment vehicle to be able to grow a significant amount of wealth for yourself over time. Now, this didn't, like I said, didn't happen for me overnight. It actually took me quite a few years, and you've probably seen in some of my videos of being in property and Forex currency trading. I'm also now in crypto in a couple of different ways of mining Ethereum, trading NFTs, and trading crypto coins itself, which can actually be quite lucrative once you get to a certain kind of working capital where you can actually leverage, not necessarily leverage it, but you can actually work on earning a bit of percentage income per week that you can actually live off. So I'll get to that in a second. So as I said, because I've grown up in property, I was able to leverage my knowledge in the property industry to renovate, build, and flip properties numerous times. So I've done this probably about 5 times in the past 6 years, and that's given me that ability to actually grow my capital for future projects without necessarily having to go to the bank for that. And another thing which I kind of do as well, which is kind of a side note from all this, is I make sure that whatever I invest or put my money towards, it doesn't rely on further income from other things. Like my crypto trading isn't funding my property investment. My property investment isn't funding my living kind of thing. I have separate bags for all that. Like I have my crypto trading portfolio, which I earn my money on, which it doesn't affect anything else. It's completely insulated from all the other projects. I have my NFTs, which is completely insulated from my crypto, from my property, from everything else. I have my property investment, which is insulated from the others as well. So that if one fails, they don't all fail. Because that's one thing which a lot of people make the mistake of doing, and they can actually end up kind of failing over time and leading down a path of debt and destruction. So yeah, so flipped a few properties, grew quite a significant amount of capital in my portfolio so that I can actually continuously invest in properties without necessarily having to go to a bank for large sums of money. I can probably look at borrowing 20-30% now, and it'll be a much easier process for me to get that money to move forward. Then as well as that, as I was saying, I also invest in crypto. Now, when you're investing in crypto, give yourself a few years to actually make the gains. And there's a few ways you can actually do this. And by the way, guys, all this is NFA, not financial advice. This is just something I've done personally, which has got me to this level now. So yeah, so you can start off relatively small in crypto, and there's a few ways you can actually make a significant amount of money. You can be on the highly speculative side of things, where you put your money into altcoins, which are very, very new, and they can pump quite quickly, and you can get 1, 2, 5, 10x of your money quite quickly. Or even some kind of more dominant kind of projects where the growth might be slightly slower, but you're investing in it for the longer term, and you can still get that 1, 2, 3, 4x on your money. Or what you can do is trade, which is what I do. So I have the ability, as I've learnt and spent time learning over the years, where I go for smaller percentage gains in movement on the actual coins itself, so that I can actually be able to go in and out, compound the returns over time, and grow my capital. So you can essentially start off with $1,000 and blow it out to a $100,000 portfolio if you double your money up about 7 times kind of thing. So it's like 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 16, 32, 64, 100, obviously more. But it can take a little bit of a while. Now, if you give yourself a bit more time to actually do that, you can actually reduce the amount of returns you actually need per trade, and you actually scale it. You can actually earn that money over time. Now, you might miss out on some larger moves depending on what kind of percentage you go for, but at the same time, you can consistently do that and they can actually end up using that as an income as well. So that's one thing, that's a path I've taken, and I'm doing that myself at the moment. One thing with that, you actually have to understand risk reward, and the trades you take should fit within that risk reward profile of yours. You always want to try to go over 2 to 3 times what you're risking. So if you're risking $1, you want to try and make back $3, so to speak, or depending on the kind of move. And I explained all this in my trading course, which is in my channel. So you can actually check out all these videos as well on risk reward, charting basics, and things like that. I'll actually add videos to that soon because I hadn't necessarily stumbled upon, but I'm actually adding more layers to my trading plan so that I can become more consistent over time as well. So yeah, so that's basically what I've done to be able to put myself into a position where I've finally kind of retired, which is awesome and a bit of a dream. Now, like I said, it's not full-blown retirement because I would get bored, senseless, just sitting at home doing nothing all day, every day. I'm still going to be in the property building industry. I will also be trading crypto, stocks, things like that. And another thing I do is actually invest in stocks, because my strategy behind the stock market is that I invest in solid projects which have long-term, not necessarily growth potential, but dividend returns which I can actually earn an income from. So my strategy for that, like I said, NFA, not financial advice, just something I do, is I try to accumulate shares in certain companies which will pay out a reasonable dividend over time, so that I can use that dividend to initially reinvest in that share company, and then eventually earn a income from the dividends itself. Now, a lot of people go into retirement going, I got a couple of $1 million in valuation in these stocks, but then when the stock market drops 30, 40, 50%, which we have seen it do in the past, they're like, oh my God, I've lost $1 million. Whereas they're focusing, to me, on the wrong thing, on the wrong metric. They should be focusing on the income owning those shares are providing. So like I said, I own BHP shares, and they give me like a 6% dividend yield or something per annum. It's like a $4 dividend per share. So my goal is to accumulate up to 40,000 shares of BHP, so that I will have that reasonable amount of income, even after tax, that I can actually live off quite easily without having to dive into actually selling the shares for a capital gain or anything like that, which I even have the option of down the line as well if I really wanted to. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you have any questions, drop a comment below and I'll actually get back to you, because I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel, like the video, let me know what you think, and I will catch you again on the next one. Cheers.